It's the old song, and there's a reason for that. Yes, this should be an intro by Suno, but I wasn't ready. So Suno's creating something, and we're going to listen to it live. We're going to experience it for the first time together. That's what's going to happen. Okay, we got Instagram up, and come on, Oh, I guess I can't scroll that. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, we're good. We're everywhere. Welcome to FriYAY. I'm a pretty excited guy. I've only been here for a couple of days because I short week, and then I wasn't feeling well Tuesday, Wednesday. But I'm back, and now we're gone again. It's so weird. And then we're not here Monday because I'm not here Monday, and people are going to be watching the stuff in the sky Monday. So I'm going to be elsewhere. But I'll be back here Tuesday. So a little long weekend for me again. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. But let's get into some stuff and things, because this is Ask a Traffic Cop, that show on the internet that lets you ask a traffic cop questions. And guess what? I am that traffic cop. My name is Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, police stuff, stuff and things, because you want to. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to. No one forces you to be here, but we like that you are here. And let's go and have a look at, first off, because, okay, you heard a song, you heard an intro, but let's do the one that I'm kind of nervous here. Okay, let's hear what this one sounds like. Is this going to work?
It's Friday morning, time to rise and shine. The weekend's here, it's gonna be just fine. Got your questions ready, need some advice. Ask a traffic cop, no need to think twice. We're gonna rock this show from start to end. With Sean by our side, he's our traffic cop friend. Got the answers you need for your daily drive. Tune in and join us, let's keep the party alive. It's Friday morning, let's hit the road. Ask a traffic cop, ready to unload. We'll keep you informed, keep you entertained. Get ready, get set, the party's starting today.
That's not bad. Now, I had a different version, same lyrics, but we don't have to go there. Do we have to go there? Okay, let's see what it sounds like. Is it better?
The weekend's here, it's gonna be just fine. Got your questions ready, need some advice.
Which one's better? Anyway, it's so hard to decide because they're all good and better than I can sing. So yeah, thanks to Suno for that. Suno's awesome. It's free. You can pay for it too, but it's free, and you can check it out at suno.ai. Let's get into some stuff and things before we get into questions. I want to say it's like paying the bills. As if I was, being sponsored, which I'm not, I would talk about our sponsors. And today's sponsor, our only sponsor, is the Vision Zero Enforcement Team. Okay, they don't sponsor us, but we talk about them because they do important work. They are a dedicated group of officers who spend their time changing driver behavior. Yes, they do it one ticket at a time. Well, actually, sometimes it's a whole bunch of tickets at a time. Depends on you. Depends on the driver and what they did wrong, what laws they broke, what violations they committed. They're not tax collectors. They're what is it? They're accountability auditors. Yeah. They're looking for the folks who choose to drive above the speed limit, choose who drive whilst aggressive or distracted or impaired. They're looking for people who are putting others at risk, because guess what? Driving and doing it unlawfully, illegally, unsafely, yeah, it leads to serious injury and death on our roads, and that's not okay. Simple as that. If you want to know where they are today, well, you can check it out by going to TrafficCop.ca, linking to any one of our social media platforms. But you know what? I can just go ahead and tell you where they are today, because it's the 5th of April, and they are in 22 Division and 53 Division. It says so right there on my Twitter feed. They're in neighborhoods like Etobicoke West Mall, Islington, Queensway, Long Branch, Etobicoke in general. They're in Lawrence Park, Mount Pleasant, Leaside, Thorncliffe Park. Places, neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. It's pretty simple. We want to protect people. We want the roads to be safe for everyone, including you. So, yeah. Do the right thing. Follow the laws. They're there for a reason. Laws are not meant to be broken, despite many people and memes and things. But what can I say? Not everybody likes rules. I guess they're less fun, but they're there for a reason. Okay. Good morning to Tim Shallow, who says, good morning, happy Friday. Tian, who says, good morning, everyone. We've got Julie, who says, good morning, happy Friday. Angela Topping, haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you're doing well. They say hello, and thank goodness it's Friday. Paul with a happy Friday. Akela, who says, hey, buddy, how's the knee? The knee is still not great. It's better than it was, but it's still not great. I'm reminded every once in a while as I twist the wrong way or bend it or stand on it, and I go, ow. It hurts a lot, but I still have no idea why. Let's see here. I honked at a BMW driver. Congratulations. That's Animal Xavier from TikTok. So we also know that the TikTok link is working, which is awesome. I thought I hit the button for go live on Instagram, and it didn't work. So I'm pressing it again, and now we're actually live on Instagram too. Let's see here. Oh. We got here. Enmo says I should play the music through the radio frequency. Do you mean like on the police radio, or should we actually get our own radio channel? Maybe we need a Sean channel on the radio. Maybe. Angela likes the second version of the song. Maybe we'll play that one on the way out, just because we can hear the whole thing. Jen's Lighting says hello. Wyatt says bruh. Tina says morning from Saskatchewan. How's it going, Saskatchewan? I'm still a little miffed about Saskatchewan. See, I was supposed to go there a couple years ago in September and couldn't go. And I missed out on seeing Saskatchewan, visiting my friend there. But maybe next year, maybe this year. Who knows? I'm coming to Saskatchewan one day. Okay. Angela says, doing good. Thank you for your service as always. Well, thank you, Angela. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're doing well. Let's say here. Frank Curity says, did I pronounce that properly? Please address the myth that there is a fast lane, i.e. diamond lane, or the far left. Yes, there is a speed limit for all lanes. Faster traffic up to the speed limit should stay to the left. Those traveling below the speed limit to the right. And the diamond lane is not a fast lane. It is not the bullet lane. It is not the move go. It is simply a lane for commuters and those that are allowed to be in it. It's called the it's not called the diamond lane. It's called the HOV, the high occupancy vehicle lane, which is permitted to multiple uses. Like buses can be in there and taxis can be in there, and of course people with electric vehicles that have green plates can be there. And if you have more than one passenger, more than one person in the vehicle, you can be there. But you can only go up to the speed limit, and it's intended to allow traffic to move beyond stopped traffic or very slow moving traffic in congestion. But people use it the wrong way. And if you Google HOV or diamond lane or what have you, collisions, they are horrific because people go really, really fast and stop traffic decides that they're going to break the rules, cross over into that lane when they're not supposed to. And yeah, the speed differential is immense. And the explosion of shrapnel when those cars collide is pretty wild too. Not good at all. Thanks for bringing it up, Frank. Appreciate it. Jacked up to the magnificent says, morning from the thriving metropolis of Bradford again. Well, we're glad to have you back. Thanks for saying hey. Let's see here. Christian wants to know, what happens if I'm driving with a small cast on my right hand with a stick car? Here's the deal. Unless you have a medical suspension or you're told you cannot drive, then there's nothing stopping you. However, if you cannot safely operate that motor vehicle due to the cast, well, you could be charged for careless driving. It's all about your ability to maintain. If you can shift and maintain safe operation, then you're good. The cast alone doesn't make it impossible, but you can't shift with your, not like if it was you said it was your right hand. So if you're shifting with your right hand and you can do that safely, but you can't shift with your left hand, that would be unsafe. All depends. The question is from Jagad, how's it been? It's been good. How's it been with you? Let's see here. Hi, do school buses stopping behind another school bus with reds on need to engage their reds? If they're just stopping and not servicing the stop, then they don't have to engage their reds because they're not. Yeah, I can see how that could be an issue though. If they're just stopping with the rest of traffic, then people think that they're safe to pass because the lights are off. Then they start to pass and they realize, well, there's a stop sign there also flashing, because that's what would happen. The next vehicle up front would have their stop sign out. So it is incumbent on drivers to pay attention and not just assume. Could school buses activate their red lights when they're not servicing. Well, that would be a misuse of their lights. It's a really interesting conundrum. I'm going to have to talk to some peeps about that. Because I totally get what I think you're going for in that they're blocking the vision of the flashing lights. Maybe they should stop really far behind them. All right. Tomas says, skipping class to watch this right now. It's funny you say that because I was having a conversation just yesterday with our social media lead at Corpcom saying that, what is the best time for us to go live? Because we used to do it like at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and now 10 o'clock. And during the summer months, that's fine because people are out of school. But there's a lot of folks who want to see what we're talking about, but they're in class. And some people are breaking rules. And look at the lawsuit that's going on right now. I don't want any of that. I don't want to be responsible for you missing out on your education, even though this is also education. But maybe we need to do a couple of nights, a month, a week. I don't know. Things to talk about. Things I've been talking about, but have not been able to move forward on yet. Okay. Here we go. As a G2 driver, am I allowed to drive on the highway, express highways, and 401s? There's 401. There's no plural 401s. But anyway, as a G2 driver, you are allowed to drive on any highway that you have access to legally. And I mean that by, it's not a private highway. A highway is any, any highway in Ontario, but you're talking about controlled access highways. So yeah, the only caveat is there is no caveat. You have to follow the law, but you can be on any road with a G2. G1s have the condition. G1s cannot be on a controlled access highway, which most people talk about and call it an expressway, unless they're being supervised by not only a licensed driver, but that driver has to be a professional driving instructor who's licensed. So not mom, dad with their own driver's license. G1 drivers can only go onto the expressway while supervised by a driving instructor. Yes. Frank says, thank you. You're welcome. Nia says, good morning and happy Friday. Wait. No, it's this one. That is the FriYAY bell. Much better. I got to use that button more often. It's hiding here. I don't obviously don't use that one nearly enough. Let's see here. Can an F550 go in the 2 or more lane with 2 passengers? Why not? Why couldn't you go in there? You're a passenger vehicle with 2 passengers. The 2 or more lane is 2 or more. If you're talking about the diamond lanes in Toronto, that's 3 or more. So those are multi-use lanes. They're not HOV, but I don't think there's any reason that a Ford, we're talking about a pickup truck, right? Ford F550? Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming that's a pickup truck. Let's see here. Can a G2 driver drive on the highway without a G license supervisor? I hope you have your G1 if you're asking this question, because you should know that a G2 does not need a supervising driver. Let's see here. I have a quote from Michaela for later. Oh, and a dad joke. Awesome. Flagging for later. Reminder to everyone, please put the letter Q at the beginning of your question so I know it's a question and not banter amongst those in the chat, because that does happen. Neha is soon. You're actually eligible for, soon. So you're soon to be eligible for your G. Very excited for you too. That is true freedom when you don't have to worry about expiring. BoyMom8424 says, good morning, Sean. Good morning to you too. Let's see here. Can a G1 or G2 driver drive in the United States? A G1 driver has a permit that is really only valid in the province of Ontario. If someone else wants to accept it, that's on them, but it is not required of them to accept it. So really, no. Even if you moved from Ontario to another province, you would have to apply for their learner's permit. They're not transferable. It's not really a license. They should change the wording. A G1 is not a license. It's a learner's permit. They sort of squished it all together. G2 drivers, however, can drive anywhere. They just have to follow the conditions of their driver's license. And that's the Ontario conditions, even if they're in a different jurisdiction. So if a G2 driver has a condition of 0 blood alcohol content, 0 drugs, which of course they do, well, then they have to abide by that when they're in the States. If they are if it's the first year, they have conditions as to how many people under the age of 20 they have in the vehicle between midnight and 5 a.m. They have to do the same thing there because that's what the condition of their license is. Here's a great question about pets. And pets, we're going to start talking about pets all the time because the hot weather, even I know there was snow and frost and crap on the ground today. Not happy. It was slippery and I don't like it. I want summer so bad. I'm tired of complaining about the cold. I want to start complaining about the heat. But because that's what I do. I complain that it's too cold and then I complain that it's too hot. I like spring and fall. I just don't want this other frozen stuff. Anyway, do pets have to be buckled in if not crated? I know it's safer, but is it law? It is not law, but it is safer. So a tether or a crate is what you should be doing with any pet. Your furry friend will become a projectile in the event of a collision. That's bad for everybody. It's bad for your furry friend. It's bad for the person who gets struck by them. It's bad if the window gets broken and they run out into the road and get hit. It's just bad. Tethering is safest for everybody. Crating is preferred. That's what I'm told. All right. Let's see here. We have an update on the eclipse weather, courtesy of Akela Draconis. At the moment, the forecast for the eclipse is cloud unless you're in Quebec. Let's hope Eastern Ontario is only high, thin clouds, but the forecast can change like the weather. Well, you know what? For all those who are really interested in this, I hope you have good weather, and I hope that you are in a safe place and not on the road and not staring while you drive into the sky and have the appropriate protection so you don't damage your vision. There are so many potential bad things that could happen on Monday when it comes to people wanting to stare up at the sky. Yes, it's like fireworks. People got to look. I will watch it on television. I have no interest in staring in the sky. Manveer wants to know how to drive in Toronto. Carefully. And don't be in a rush because everywhere is an hour from Toronto. Everywhere in Toronto is an hour from Toronto. All right. No Name says, Ayo, I'm skipping class to watch this too. I'm both flattered and concerned for your future. But I'm glad you're here. Barry Care Spotting, make an underglow video. I was going to say I don't have any underglow, but I actually just found 5 boxes of underglow. 5 boxes? I think I have 5 boxes of underglow. I probably have more than that. And it's RGB LED underglow that I'm thinking about turning into studio lighting because I have no intention of putting it on my truck. But I have some. I've made lots of videos about underglow. You can probably search them by underglow. I think, maybe I haven't made videos about underglow. Maybe I need to make a video about underglow. But Barry Car Spotting will take care of it. We'll make a new one. It's a funny thing because it's that law that isn't a law. There is no law about underglow, but there are lots of laws that will impact you. Way Too Neat says, what consequences do you face when getting pulled over and you're driving with your G1? Well, that's a great question. It's actually one of my favorite questions of all time because there's so much to talk about here. I'm assuming you mean you have a G1 and you're unaccompanied. You are not accompanied by a qualified G-class driver with 4 years experience. Thus, you are not eligible to drive a motor vehicle. So you first get a $110 ticket for G1 drive unaccompanied. That's where it starts. And there's so much more. Because you are not covered by insurance. You are not an insurable driver. Thus, if you were involved in a collision, that vehicle's not getting repaired. The vehicle... the coverage on the vehicle will take care of the liability, I'm assuming, but they won't replace the vehicle because you shouldn't have been behind the wheel. Now, here's where it gets really good. Who let you the vehicle? Why are you driving? If the person who owns the vehicle knows that you have that vehicle and let you drive it, even though you only have a G1, well, they get charged on the Highway Traffic Act too. If they didn't, they say, I did not tell Bob. I did not tell Way Too Neat to drive my car. They know better. They took it without my consent. Well, that's now criminal charges for you. So if they want to get out of their ticket, they just got to throw you under a bus. It's a big bus. It hurts a lot. What else would you get charged for? Is that everything? It might be everything. Now, you do get a 30-day suspension on conviction. On your second offense, if you choose to do it again, you'd get a 90-day suspension. On a third, you'd be kicked out of the graduate licensing program, losing all monies and all time invested. So let's say you are 11 and a half months towards getting your G2 and you just had to go get some milk. Well, that's the third time you did it. Now you're not eligible. You go back to having zero experience. And really, that I think is very fair because you had no business behind the wheel. Anyway. Apparently there's a section of code that talks about, and this is from Jackie, who says, every school bus driver who stops on the highway immediately behind another school bus, which means I get to look something up because as much as I've been having a conversation about that, I have never looked at a law in regards to, I got to download a new version, in regards to it. So thank you, Jackie. Let's look that up together in just a second. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, so so Mobeen Qureshi says on April 10th is Eid, a day for Muslims. Lots of people will go to a mosque between 8:30 and 10 a.m. Around 50,000 people. Please advise them to follow parking laws. Well, here's the thing: regardless if it's for Eid or for any holiday from any people, we should all be following the parking laws, especially when we all want to get to the same place at the same time. And well, there's a lot of pressure if there's a special time that you have to be there, like getting kids to school, for instance, another equally problematic time. Everyone needs to park legally. And if parking is going to be an issue, you know it, make plans, take an alternate mode of transportation. But thank you, Mobeen. I appreciate the heads up. I'm sure that our friends in parking enforcement are well aware of it. But this is a great opportunity to, within our own communities, with our own social media people, remind people to be courteous and park legally. So again, thanks for bringing it up. What is this? Euro for life. You mentioned only 4 forward-facing headlights. New Ford pickups have 6 and super bright grr. There's a lot of folks who don't like the new headlights. They can be blinding, but they aren't truly 6 headlights. Hear me out. The 300 lumens plus section of headlight, or the concentration of a single beam, even if it's from 4 illuminated sources, would still qualify as one headlight. It's one housing, one headlight. It's a little confusing now because the Porsche has 4. Like there's a lot of, with LED, they're smaller, more compact, and they're aimed together. It's one focused beam, and I think that's important to look at. And when you turn on the high beams for one of those lights, they would have to deactivate one set of them. If you did have 6 when they were all on, that would not be lawful. I've got to look at the manufacturers, but I know they have like 2 patterns, but I really think they're part of one headlight housing. I'm going to look into it now to confirm. Sharik says Matrix Agent. I have no idea what you mean. All right, what was the Jackie's section said? 6.1. Okay, let's have a look. 6.1. How about this? I may not be able to find this right now because I'm maybe looking at wrong section, the incorrect sections. All right, moving on. Bus driver who has stopped for a purpose set out in Clause 6A, or to whom subsection shall actuate. Oh. So apparently the bus behind may actually have to stop as well. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate the input. Again, something I never looked at before, but makes total sense because they're blocking the one in front. More on this. I will have to do some more looking and digging and whatnot. What is this? I saw an RCMP car on the highway the other day. Do they control highway or is it just OPP? They are not really traffic people in Ontario. They do have people who work here in the province, but they don't generally do that. It is interesting, though, to see them once in a while. They look so out of place. I don't remember the last time I've seen an RCMP car that's marked. We have lots of unmarked RCMP people working here. But they don't run the highways here, no. That's OPP. And any police officer can actually effect a stop and enforce laws here. The RCMP, if they were doing it, would have to get special provisions and authorization, but OPP or any other police, municipal or provincial police in Ontario would be able to handle enforcement. Okay. Roman, you're bringing up driving instructors. When I was on my driving test, instructor told me to go 120 on a 100-kilometer road. Is this not illegal? So you're not talking about instructors, you're talking about testers who are not instructors. They are civilians who are hired by a third-party company who do the testing, and they really annoy me. Why? Because they're telling people to break the law. That's illegal to do 120 and a 100, and they're counseling people to do it, and in some cases they're failing people if they don't do it. Drive test needs to be investigated because that's ludicrous. But I had a former drive test instructor come talk to me at the auto show and said that they had a 20-kilometer range. So if you were 10 under and 10 over, they would find that acceptable. I still have a problem with the 10 over part. It's not lawful. Why would you fail someone for not doing 10 over? But anyway, Yeah. I have no idea who that person is. Okay. Scrolling back, 'cause I lost a bunch of people. Did I lose a bunch of people? Hang on. Hang on. No Name says, how do I ask a question? You did. Let's see here. Safe Driver, Scott Marshall, is in the house. This house. And you should join us if you got time, Scott. I can send you a link. Let me know if you're up to it. Always welcome here. Scott used to join me like every Friday like clockwork. He was on the show. The Safe Driver, and if you don't already follow him on socials, check him out. Scott Marshall, the Safe Driver. You can check out his blog. He has great advice. He was the master driving instructor for young drivers for many years. He has his own blog and has continued doing that long after he moved on with other things. But he's a writer and a TikToker and a former judge on Canada's Worst Driver. And my friend. I'm very proud of that because he's a good guy. And now I want to have a sandwich at our favorite sandwich shop. Anyway, just saying. Let's see here. Michael, did I get your dad joke? I did not see your dad joke. So if you have a dad joke, please tell me what it is. Again. Okay. What is this? No, this is, Enright7 says, morning, Sean. Morning to you, too. If the flow of traffic is going about 120 in a 100 zone, do I follow them or follow the limit? It's illegal to follow them. Stay to the right. Let the speeders continue on the left. The left lane is for faster traffic, and even though they are speeding, it's not your responsibility to slow them down. You, however, should not be speeding, and you could be charged for speeding, even if they're speeding. So this concept that, they're doing it, I'm okay to do it, or I have to follow the flow of traffic. Flow of traffic is not a law. Flow of traffic is a concept that applies up until the speed limit. You need to get up to the flow of traffic to merge safely. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you should be speeding. And the flow of traffic, with you sitting with your signal as you're moving in at the speed limit, they will pass you. An opening will happen. And sometimes you have to slow down. Sometimes you can't merge. Sometimes you have to actually stop, which sounds terrible. But I've had lots of success. And people are merging in front of me all the time. The people who are behind you, well, they'll have to adjust their speed. And they should not be speeding either. All right. BC to Ontario. What is the question? I just see BC to Ontario. It's not really a question, even though there's a question mark. Is there something else above? I don't see anything above. Okay, we're moving on. I'm happy to come back to you, but I need to know more. Jen Carling says, is there an easier way to give thieves our keys? I live in a duplex. Yet you obviously didn't get the memo or understand the whole thing. No one's suggesting giving keys away. No one's suggesting leaving them outside. We're not making it easier for people to steal your car. We are simply making it safer for you in the event that a home invasion takes place to get your car. So for those who don't understand what I'm talking about, there was media buzz around advice from the Toronto police, one particular officer who was taken out of context saying, put your keys outside or at the front door. Let me rephrase. He never said outside. People misunderstood it. It was leave your keys at the front door. It's inside. We used to say hide your keys. The problem is there are bad people out there that will break into your home. They're armed, whether it be with firearms or other weapons, and are willing to do harm unto you to get your keys. If they're already in your house, willing to take action to that level, let them have the keys. If they beat you up to get your keys, they're getting the keys anyway. We'd like to avoid seeing you hurt. That's not to say you don't take every precaution to make your vehicle less attractive to thieves. You park in a well-lit area, preferably in a garage. You use the club. You use, engine kill switches or hidden switches. Anything you can to make your vehicle harder to steal. That's what you should start with. Faraday bags for relay thefts, all the things you need to do. But if they're willing to come into your house, they're probably willing to hurt you too. So in that situation, we say don't hide your keys. Because why would you need to find out whether they're willing to hurt you? It's not worth it. Harm reduction. Your insurance covers your vehicle. They don't fix you when you're broken. I mean, they might you get hospital coverage. You're in Ontario, but it's trauma. It's things you don't need in your life. All right. Hey, what about deleting your diesel truck but it's non-commercial. You can't delete your exhaust systems. You can delete the whole truck by like having it sold or scrapped, but you can't delete the exhaust systems. They're required. What do you got here? I acquired my G2 license last month. Is there any way I can appear for G without waiting a year? Only if you were fast tracked. Like if you had previous experience from another country that was accepted, you would already know that you have an accelerated process. But if you're going through and you went your G1 and then you got your G2 and you're not being fast tracked, then you're not being fast tracked. But talk to the ministry, go to Service Ontario, talk to them. They would have, or Drive Test would have more information about that to see what your status is and what the government has attributed to you, and in terms of crediting you for experience. Why are there so many cars with tinted license plates and no one is stopping them? Sub-Zero Maximus wants to know. Well, the truth is we are stopping them. We're just not stopping all of them, and obviously not stopping them while you're there. But they're being stopped and they're being charged because it's important and they're breaking the law. But as much as it's important, it's not the focus of our activity. We focus our activities on different stuff and things. We are absolutely interested in stopping that behavior, but we focus on the big four. We're looking for speeders, aggressive drivers, distracted drivers, and impaired drivers, because they're the ones who are responsible for serious injury and death on our roads more often than not. The ones with tinted license plate covers are probably actively involved in that kind of driving too. I should really point this way, but it's not the active priority. Still important. I appreciate you bringing it up. Let's see here. Following up from Mobeen Qureshi, who says, also respect neighborhood around the mosque. Don't block their houses. Park legally and take care of pedestrians. Again, same thing for any event from any culture. But I totally see, because this is important to the upcoming Eid. Yes, this is a big deal with schools as well. Parents dropping kids off and whatnot, blocking people's homes. Other people want to live and, get in and get out of their community. So very important. Can I use my United States license when in Canada when I visit? Yes, you can. We accept American drivers. You have to follow, obviously, the laws here, but you are entitled to use your American license from whatever state it's issued in, just as we are able to use our Canadian provincial licenses when we visit you. So Connecticut license is going to be, what are you doing when you're here? Are you going to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame? What's your plan? Let's see here. Okay, Jonathan Kendall thinks they're funny. Is it Hardy Har Har? I haven't said that since a long time ago. I think that's probably been 20 years, maybe more. It's just, yeah. Where is this? I have warrants in Toronto. Okay. Warrant team. Right there. That's the user. They have warrants. Okay. Thanks for letting us know. We'll send them to your house. Okay. Armani says, I appealed a ticket and I haven't heard back for a couple of weeks. What should I do? It's government. A couple of weeks, you're not going to hear anything. You might be a couple of months. I think a couple of months, maybe 6 or more. You can follow up with the courts, but nothing happens in government in a couple of weeks. Alan Quinn says, I'm a biker and I see lane splitting. Is it legal in Canada? It's not legal. It's not. Okay. There is no lane splitting law. There is, however, there are, laws that deal with behavior, like careless driving, stunt driving, dangerous driving, which is criminal, and stunt driving, depending on the observations, or I should say lane splitting, depending on the observations of the officer, could qualify for any one of those three. If you're cutting through traffic that's not moving and you're traveling at a higher rate of speed, that's very easily stunt driving. If you're going so fast that it's beyond that of simple stunt driving, criminal charges could be laid. If you are driving slowly through or you're waddling through, maybe it's not a big deal. Like you could be walking your bike through because you don't want to be the last vehicle at the end. That's more lane filtering rather than lane splitting. Lane splitting is an active driving process. And if you're driving through and crossing lanes, careless would be the start of where I would go. Don't do it. It's not a good practice. And if your bike is too hot, temperature-wise, it's air-cooled and you got to move, it's not an excuse. Don't ride that day when it's really hot. I know it's not fun advice, but it is the way to do it. Okay. Apparently that was a question from earlier that I missed. Okay, looking here. Looking. Wow, that lane splitting one was really far back that I just happened to scroll past accidentally. Oh, Jonathan Kendall. I mean, you can type. It's good. The words are all there, but it's not funny. I mean, I'm laughing at you, not with you. Is it illegal to tailgate an ambulance? What do you think? Yeah. Following through. Tailgating in general is illegal. Like following too close, doing it to an ambulance, that would attract my attention. Yes. What else do we got here? Did you find Joseph? I don't know who Joseph is. Other than legally obligated to provide all docs, your name, address, and owners, anything else. So when you're being pulled over as a driver of a vehicle in Ontario, you are required to surrender license, ownership, and insurance upon demand of a police officer for their reasonable inspection. Beyond that, we don't really have questions for you. We might be making small talk to determine if you're, just to be friendly, make the experience a little better, to explain things. But there's no questions you have to answer unless it's related to, actually, I was going to say if it was related to a criminal investigation, but even then, you have that ability to keep your mouth shut, other than the information you have to surrender. Let's see here. Please mention on your Facebook page about the parking on it. I think we've mentioned it everywhere because this is currently simulcasting everywhere, but I think you're right. We'll put up a parking thing or suggest to the parking enforcement folks to make that post. Okay. What is this? A G1 driver, an experienced driver, passenger side. Can there be a passenger in the back seat? Yes, Linda, back seat is okay, front seat is not. So something that many people don't realize is that the only person who can be in the front seat when a G1 driver is driving is the supervising driver. If you had a bench, you could not have somebody in the front seat with the in the middle. Only the driver, who's a G1, and the supervising G with the 4 years experience. Is A still yapping? Let's see here. Or maybe they lost interest. I don't see A in here anymore. Okay, that's good. Have you ever been interested in becoming a member of the Toronto Police? Has it ever been something you've thought about but wanted more information and didn't know who to ask? Didn't know what website to check out? I got you. We have a website just for this. It's called the employment page. Careers, actually. It's the what is it called? There's a word for it. It's not recruiting. It's talent acquisition. That's what it is. Anyway, if you are interested in becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service, this is a good place to check out. It really is. You can go here to get all the information you've ever wanted to know and more. And let's take this off the screen. We can scroll and you can see information about different roles. Police constable being the most notable, the one that everyone talks about. But truth is, there are lots of different opportunities here. So yeah, click on police constable for information about becoming a police officer, but you could become whoa, that's a malfunction. Really? Well, that's what you get for not checking out if it's working beforehand. Apparently our unit's down. We'll check back on Monday to see what kind of, that's so disappointing. Anyway, the police constable role, lots of information here to get you ready for, a career in law enforcement. Well, it doesn't actually prepare you for it. It prepares you for the application. In any case, check it out. If you're interested in becoming a member of the service, this is a fantastic place to work. Okay. Stephen Bell says they quit smoking for good. Cool. I quit smoking too. December 6th, 1999. The last day I had a cigarette. Cold turkey. You can do it too. Good for you. All right. John F. wants to know if I know Toronto slang. I'm old. I probably don't know that thing. And to suggest that I do is just cap. So what if you own the car, then what would happen if only G1? Oh, so you own a car and you're driving with a G1 with the permission of the owner because you are the owner? Well, then I'd probably charge you for both. Driving without a supervisor and for permitting it to be driven by someone who doesn't have a license. Yeah. Okay. Okay, what is this? A joke from Michael. Thank you for sending it. Carl Freeman says, good morning. Chan is assuming that the question about BC to Ontario was the transfer of licenses between provinces. And if that was the question, the answer is yeah. If you have a proper full license, G2 equivalent or better, you can transfer your license between. Michael Diaz wants to know if First Nations police services can pull over drivers off the reserve. I don't know how that works. I don't work in relation to anywhere near a reserve, and I probably knew this at one point, but it's not something I've discussed lately. So I'm not aware. Like maybe if the offense took place on the reserve, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. But I know I can find out. All right. Are we having issues with the TikTok link not working anymore? Did it break? No, it's here. Okay. Does Joseph White know you're live? Second comment about Joseph White. Still don't know who he is. Matt says they cannot. I'm assuming that's in relation to the question of. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole for a second and try and reset the chat because it is not working. It has stopped. It stopped at 10:30. Stand by. Chat.restream. Okay. Settings and bot. And relay mode on and off, and maybe this will rekindle its ability. And it has. It fixed it. Hallelujah. I like it when it works. All right. Here we go. More TikTok questions. What if someone with a suspended license is pulled over driving someone else's car accountable? Yeah, you're suspended driver. You get charged, and if there's an impound involved, it's going to get like suspended driver serious. Let me see here. I want to see one thing. Well, that's not working. Hang on. I'm in the school buses mode. Here we go. Come on. Where is it? Cannot find things today. Hang on a sec. Driving. Under suspension. Arrest and seizure. So it's not a direct impound unless they qualify. Oh, but nice big charges for it. First offense, 1,000, not less than 1,000, not more than 5,000. Second and subsequent offenses, 2,000 to 5,000. Either way, yeah. The driver who, so back to this question. The driver or the owner of the vehicle who let you drive the car could be charged for allowing someone who was suspended to drive the car, same as a G1. Okay. Crazy driver caught on dash cam, 180 along the 401, weaving. Would the police be interested? From the perspective of seeing that video and using it for social media, absolutely I'd be interested. In terms of laying charges, we need to be able to know time, date, location, identity of the vehicle, and the identity of the driver in order to lay charges that would be appropriate for that kind of behavior. Unfortunately, it wouldn't lead to charges, but great educational content. If you've got good video, please send it to me. You can contact me through a DM, and we can figure out how to get me the video. And so Matt said, no, you can't. And then Richard says, yes, they can here in Thunder Bay. So I need to look into more about the police who handle the reserve, because I just don't know. Okay. Hey, hi, can I drive in an HOV lane with a single person driving a Tesla? Green permit zones and not. So something you need to know is green plates are issued for plug-in hybrid and electric vehicles, other types of, there are other qualifying vehicles as well. And they're allowed to be in HOV lanes with one passenger, yes. If you have custom plates, you don't have a green plate. It's a green plate zone, but you have a blue plate because you have what we call vanity plates. You're no longer eligible to use that lane. because the plate gives you the authority, not anything else. And if you're in the city, those are different. Those are not HOV lanes. They're multi-use lanes and have specific requirements, and they're posted on the signs that govern them. And I don't think green plates qualify for them. Can you have sealed liquor bottle in hand's reach? This is something we talk about on a regular basis. So if you have a factory-sealed bottle or a factory-sealed pouch bag container of marijuana, same thing. If it's sealed from factory, you can have it anywhere. If you have it cracked and resealed, closed but not sealed, it has to be out of reach, has to be in the trunk or in luggage, a bag. How did a sergeant make $400,000 last year? Very easily. Worked a lot. Callbacks and paid duty overtime on their off days. Came in, worked like crazy, probably slept in their car a lot. That's how you make, as a police officer, that much money. It's not because the police service just pays him a lot more because he's really good. It's because he works a whole lot, taking time away from his family to work and fill duties that are required, whether it be extra duties that are required because we need more officers. They backfill with something called a callback. So you're called back to duty after you go home. Or, and in this case, I would guarantee you it's paid duties where you're being paid by clients of the police service on your days off. Okay, moving along. Do the cruisers have radar in the front and back? Yes, we have moving radar, and it does have an antenna in the front and back. We can get you coming or going in either direction. Ethan Mulder, TPS policy on employee alcohol and drug use after hours, requirement for fit for duty. Well, obviously, we can't parade for duty if we're unfit for duty. So if we are under the influence of alcohol or drugs, we would not be paraded. We'd be sent home, and obviously there'd be disciplinary action there. And off duty, we're always going to be held accountable for our conduct. Can't drink and drive, can't do anything that anyone else can do. So, yeah, the policy is don't do stupid stuff. Let's see here. What do the highway cameras see? Do they just see the traffic? Yeah, they're cameras way high in a pole. They're there for traffic, for visibility. Often they're used by traffic control to say, hey, there's a collision there, and notify police and crews. What is this? What's the procedure in order to review footage in an apartment when you got your car scratches? If there's collision damage, then when police are investigating, they can often acquire the video. If you live in your condo, they may give it to you because you ask for it. It depends. If you live in a condo, you're depending on your condo rules, they may be willing to give it to you, which would be nice, right? Very often they don't. They want police to make the request, and sometimes your collision, like if it's just scratches, we're not getting involved in a collision or in an investigation about your car got scratched. It's not reasonable. Scratches happen all the time. Okay, we talked about this. We talked about that. We talked about a whole bunch of this stuff. Hang on a second. 5 foot. Can you hang a 5 foot flag off your car? I'm going to say no. That's unsafe. You're going to be interrupting and interfering with the safety of others at that point. And to secure that properly would be more interesting and difficult than I think the average person thinks. They usually just duct tape or bungee cord things to their vehicles. Not safe. But I can't visualize. It's 5 foot tall or 5 foot long. What's the 5 foot measurement specifically? In any case, don't do it. Bad idea. My friend's license was canceled due to child support issues. He believes he can drive. He would be wrong. If he does not have a license, he cannot drive. Can people sit on the center seat on a Ford F-150? The center seat being the one in between the driver and passenger? Yeah, it's a bench seat. You got to have a seatbelt there, otherwise it's not a bench seat. And the only time you can't sit there is if the driver is a G1 driver being supervised, then you cannot. Let's see here. Can you help understand plates versus tags? Some people don't have plates, but they have tags. Plates are what we call them. Tags are what we call them, or the Americans call them. They call them their tags. But license plates and tags are synonymous. Like they're the same thing. Unless there's something else you're talking about, then you need to help me understand what you're asking. And Vel's talking about silly stuff. Okay. We talked about this already. Okay, a lot of comments and dialogue amongst people. Are there any other laws that are affected by vanity plates? Just the green plates that I'm aware of, because you can't have vanity green plates, so people switch out of them and then lose the privileges that the green plates provide. Someone has custom plates saying inverted and plates are installed upside down. That's illegal. Upside down plates are not displayed in accordance with the regulation and would be eligible for charges. Okay. Is it legal to have a light bar installed, same as police, as long as red and blues aren't used? You can have a light bar. I don't know why you'd want to have the whistling, horrible, wind sail that rattles when you drive around. That's not fun. But in terms of having an amber light bar, that's legal. And if you had one that was never used on the road, I mean, there are organizations that have different colors on private property, but as soon as you take it on the road, you're having a problem. And no sirens. Sirens cannot be on the road. Hello, sir. At which age children don't need car seat? 8 years old, 80 pounds, 4'9". Those are the three conditions, but they are only required one at a time. So if 80 pounds, automatically it's legal. 8 years old, regardless of size or weight, legal. 4'9" in height. But here's the thing: it may not be the safest option. Just because it's legal doesn't make it safe. I pressed a button I didn't mean to. Here we go. This is a good solution. Go to this website if you'd like more information as to the safety checks. There's a 5-point check to find out because if they're 8 years old but they're really tiny, you don't want to put them in a seatbelt alone, even though it's legal. They have stuff on their website that will help you out. You can also go to TrafficCop.ca. That has links to the laws, all sorts of useful content and links that I have there, and I try and keep it current. All right. What does Penny want to know? Try and understand middle class salary in any job in Ontario is $194 per adult per household. I'm not understanding the context. Are you talking about why did a sergeant make $400,000? Because they worked probably 3 times as much as the person who made $194. But maybe Penny's responding to the other person. I don't know. Let's see here. Cops in Ontario are held accountable. Now, that's the best joke I've heard today. The OIPRD is a joke. Well, I'm sorry that you don't approve, but yeah, we are the most scrutinized and absolutely held accountable. And we publicize it. We make a point of it because we take it seriously. Nobody likes a bad cop more than a good cop. Let's see here. I always wondered why people stay behind cop car while I drive past one going the speed limit. If you're driving the speed limit, you got nothing. There's no reason not to do the speed limit, unless we have our lights on and then don't pass us. If we have our lights on, there's a reason. And very often we are calming traffic or slowing traffic. And I used to shut down highways by basically wandering across all the lanes with my lights on. If you passed me there, I would get you into a lot of trouble. That's a different story. Can the cameras on your highway see you on the phone? Oh, that'd be awesome. But we do not have technology like that. They're not used for enforcement, but you're talking about you can see a tiny little car, a little bitty little car. My G license is expired. Do I have to start from G1 again? The question is, how long has it been expired? If it's 3 years that it's been expired, I think you need an eye test. I think it's 10 years. You need to start all over again. I think. I once upon a time looked at this for someone, but it's so infrequent that you're best to double check with drive test. And you can Google this. That is something. Hey, maybe I can Google this. Hey, that's an idea. How long can my Ontario license be expired? After 1 year. What are they talking about? Renew an expired driver's license. Okay. 1 to 3 years, you have to take a vision test. 3 to 10 years, you have to get a vision test, a written knowledge test, and 2 road tests. You have to take your G1 and G2. If you've been expired for more than 10 years, you have to reapply as a new driver and cannot fast track. There is your answer. And guess what? Because of this, I'm going to put this on TrafficCop.ca because I think that's good information for y'all to get. So that's going to be updated right after the show. TrafficCop.ca will now include this question. All right. Peter is responding to someone who has a question about carrying their license. You do have to carry the original. All right. Velmano, who I don't know why you keep showing up on the line because you obviously don't like it here, says, you guys are overpaid and underworked. Less tube at empty parking lots and chit-chatting. People in parking lots, that's where we're typing our reports. See, our cars are mobile offices, so you wouldn't believe the incredible amount of paperwork that policing involves, and you're probably watching people doing work. And if they're talking to somebody while they're doing the work, so be it. But overpaid, we are not overpaid, not by any stretch, and we are absolutely overworked. So, Val, all I can tell from your comment is that you're ill-informed. Okay. Nash says, can we talk privately later? I have some questions. You can certainly DM me. I'm happy to chat. I'm 128 or so messages on DM, but if you go to TrafficCop.ca, there's a submission form there. You can ask me questions and get in contact a little quicker. Jim says in Minnesota, they call them plates. Interesting. Most places I've heard in the States, and I have never been to Minnesota, so I will correct my my statement to not include Minnesota for going forward. But yeah, well, would you call it soda or pop in Minnesota? Because there's a lot of differences. A lot of I think Florida, it's tags. I'm pretty sure. Let's see here. How enforced what is this? How enforced is the online censorship bill going to be? I have no idea. Let's see here. Going a couple minutes over time. Only because it's fun and it's FriYAY. Let's see here. Can a single person drive on the HOV lanes after rush hour? No, the HOV lanes have requirements. It's not time dependent. It is all the time enforceable. Okay, what are the status on electric scooters? Are they on sidewalks and bike lanes on the road? Why? Well, in Toronto, they're not legal at all. At all. Although there's discussion about making them legal. I don't think they're going to be anytime soon. Many of them are prohibited in the province, never mind, in the Toronto, because none of them are legal in Toronto. And when officers can, they do enforce laws in regards to them. $110 just for being in Toronto. Okay. John Collins wants to know, what is the law regarding exhaust? Sound below a specific level, all emission equipment still there. Exhausts can't create unnecessary noise or smoke. That would be unnecessary noise charges. Not having an exhaust, not having a resonator could be charges for improper muffler or exhaust system. The big thing is how much noise you're creating. Now, there's a bylaw in the city of Toronto that you cannot create more than 92 decibels at idle and more than 96 decibels at anything other than idle, which would result in a $500 fine. Nihal wants to know how would eclipse traffic how would the eclipse affect the traffic in the GTA? Are there warnings in the 401 regarding the same? We're outside of the zone. I don't think that we're going to have a lot of people staring into the sky, but who knows? Maybe we will. We're outside of the path, so we're going to be looking at it from the side as opposed to being directly under it like the folks in that region will be. And listen, I New Year's Eve and Victoria Day, we see people doing the darndest things because fireworks are in the sky. I'm concerned as to what kind of silliness we'll see on Monday. Okay. AJ says, respect road truck drivers. We help you guys a lot on the road, day and night, just to make the bread. I know you're talking about tow truck drivers, despite the typo, and I absolutely respect tow truck drivers. You got a lot of great people out there, and they are helping us out. Slow down, move over laws absolutely need to be considered. The tow truck drivers are out there working to help you, just like police, fire, and ambulance. So that is important. But there are some who do it improperly, some of them who drive dangerously, and those I don't respect. If you're breaking laws, it's different. But if you're doing it right, I have all the respect in the world for tow truck operators. Okay. Let's see here. Josh says sudden darkening, and if you look at it, it can and will blind you quickly. Yeah, there are concerns about the sky during a complete solar eclipse. Obviously, don't stare at the sky, and it could get dark. So use your full headlighting system. What's the minimum age to forward-facing car seat where you are? How strict is this if spotted? Well, I got to tell you that strict is and tickets is not what you should be worried about. If you're taking a child out of a rear-facing child seat and putting them forward-facing, you might be killing them. You might be setting them up for death in the event of a collision because their necks cannot support the weight of their heads when being thrust forward due to the collision. The rear-facing seat, which you should really use until 4 years old, is there to safely protect them in the event of a collision, to cradle their neck, which is where they're going to, get the most serious injury in the event of a collision, generally. Because even a minor collision could end their life if they're not protected properly. So the guide, go to TrafficCop.ca. I actually have a link to this guide when you have to do the transition from rear-facing to forward-facing. But don't be in a rush. Just because they're uncomfortable and don't like rear-facing is not a reason to put their life at risk. What license do you need for a scooter? If you mean like a gas-powered scooter, you need to have a motorcycle license. You can have a low-powered motorcycle license depending on the type of scooter, but yeah, you need to have a driver's license, M class. How often do you guys use the horses? They're a full-time unit of the Toronto Police Service, the mounted unit. Let's see here. Is it illegal to flash our lights during the day to warn of a radar trap? Regardless of the fact that it's using high beams, which is improper, it's not moral. Why are you telling people to slow down for a radar trap? Let them get stopped and charged so we can correct their behavior. The whole idea of a radar trap or speed measurement and speed enforcement is to change driver behavior. If you save them for a ticket this block and they continue driving like boneheads next block, and then they hit someone and it was because you stopped them from slowing down, I wouldn't do that. Okay. Josh says, if it's an electric scooter with a max speed of 40, no license, as far as I know. So if it's an electric bicycle, qualifies as an e-bike, 32 kilometers an hour, then it would not need a license, ownership, or insurance because it's an e-bike. But if it does 40 kilometers an hour, it's a motorcycle or scooter and does require license, ownership, and insurance. So you were close, but no cigar. What is this? Mark the tech guy wants to know if the chief can now suspend an officer without pay. I think that's part of the new program, and I think it's dependent on the charges, and I don't know the details. I haven't read up on it yet. But it was asked yesterday. I'll see if I have any light reading for the weekend and catch up on it. It's on my things to do list. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Police should do ride-alongs with bus drivers. Amazing how people text and drive, run lights, and more. I absolutely agree with you. I would love to do that. The texting and driving is an epidemic. People can't live without their phones. And we have so many phones, and like the technology is phenomenal. We now have phones that will just listen to you. I mean, I remember trying to program what was it? I think it was a Sony Ericsson phone. And it would do voice dialing, but you had to say the person's name 6 times to save it as that entry. It wasn't what Siri and all the other platforms do, where you're just having a conversation with it. It's amazing what you can do now, and there's absolutely no excuse for not using voice commands in lieu of touching the phone. Just no excuse. So, yeah, I'd love to do that. I think we should have undercover buses with lights and sirens. Chief, what do you think? Boom, boom, boom. Tim wants to know, if someone kicks in my front door with the intent to harm, what action can I take to protect my family? So the Criminal Code of Canada says you can use as much force as necessary to protect yourself of imminent harm or that of someone else. So you can use, and I'm not quoting directly the verbiage from the Criminal Code, but you can use as much force as necessary to protect yourself, up until lethal force in some situations. But you have to know that it's also, if you use excessive force, you're criminally responsible for excessive force. So if someone walks in and you unalive them, you're going to jail. If that wasn't something you needed to do, and it's complicated. You're going to need a lawyer and a lot of time spend thinking about what happened, because this is not something where you can just. So if someone comes in with a gun, can you use a gun? Well, do you have a gun? Did you safely store it? There's so many questions. It's more complicated than just defending yourself. But you do what you got to do to defend yourself if the threat is real. But that doesn't mean walking in your front door and saying, "Hi, I'm here to steal your car." Yeah. Can a CAF member join the police force without a college degree? Anyone can join the police force without a degree, because it's not a requirement. That said, it's a competitive organization. Like, the application process is competitive, and more education is better. So, yeah, it would help you, but it's not a requirement. Grade 12 is a requirement. Why do some cop cars have tinted front windows, but on a personal car it's not allowed? Barry Jacob wants to know. Barry Jacob Rickson. So, do you mean windshield or windows left and right of the driver? So you can have the windows in a personal car tinted left and right of the driver. You just can't have them tinted so dark that you can't see in, and we can't either. Windshields, however, if that's what you were talking about, are not legal in any vehicle. Can't have tinted windshields, and we don't tint our vehicles. Okay. What's this? Do you allow any of these apps that will verify your ID as a valid form of identification during a stop? No. You need your actual physical license card. You need your either a photocopy or original of your ownership, and an electronic version is acceptable for proof of insurance if it's a secure app with your insurance provider, not a picture or a PDF. There you go. Aren't the plates and the tags the renewable stickers? Well, we don't have renewal stickers anymore. So, no, in the states, in some states, not Missouri. Was it Missouri? Then the tags are your actual plate in, like, Florida. All right. Good morning from Muskoka. I watch you all the time. Great show. Jeremy, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I have not been to Muskoka in many, many moons. Is the Nutty Chocolatier still in Muskoka? Because I like that place. Chances of becoming an officer without a degree. They're good. Absolutely. You can still become an officer without a degree. It's all about the competition. And obviously that we want to see that you had some continuing education, that you're trainable, like they're investing in you. So anything you do, even a course, languages, anything you do shows that you're still, interested in learning is good. But if you've been gainfully employed forever and or you just got out of school and you're ready to apply, but you've been doing stuff, yeah, degree is not a make or break. Would graduating university with a sociology degree be a beneficial in applying to the police force? Any degree is good. Yeah. Is it better to be criminology over something else? No. I think accounting would be the best. Get into financial crimes, at least catching financial crimes. Nihao wants to know, why is mental health such a big issue in the present day? I know it's not a traffic question. I don't know. I don't know why it's become. Maybe it's something we just didn't talk about before, but it was always an issue. But mental health is affecting everybody, from police officers. It's a thing, and the good thing is we talk about it now, and we have appropriate ways to help people who are dealing with mental health issues. I think the suck it up buttercup concept that I grew up under has flaws, and people would turn to other forms of dealing with their problems, and they weren't healthy ones. And I think we're doing a lot better job now. I appreciate the question. It's a conversation for another time. Maybe we get someone who's a specialist in the area to talk about it. Penny or Onyx says, you can go to the fire station. They checked my car seat and kid before we turned the seat around. That's good too. And we used to run clinics just like that here at the Toronto Police. We haven't been able to do that for a long time. We don't have the staff to do it right now, but we're trained. Like I'm a car seat installer or technician, child safety seat technician, and we would teach people to do it themselves because we're certified to do that. I tried to put the driver's seat backwards to help my neck. Police were not happy with me being safe. Now that's funny. A rear-facing driver's seat, not good. Can a 10-year-old, 5'3" and 45 kilos sit in the front seat? RK, the deal is this. They can sit in the front seat when they're less than that. The only requirement by law is whether or not they can sit in a seat using a seatbelt without the benefit or assistance of a booster or a car seat. That's where the 8-year-old, 80 pounds and 4'9" come into play. But a child, even in a car seat, could be installed and seating in the front seat. There's no law determining where in the vehicle they can be. But back seat is best till 14. Let's see here. Michael says no such thing as a speed trap. True, because if you're speeding, you done it to yourself. I think it's a great idea. It's stuff we've talked about before. We've had members from other units before, but member of dog services, mounted, marine. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's something that we really should do. Need to do. Must do. Going to do. Zetteltron says, excellent information. Thank you. You're very welcome. Money says, I love you, police. Well, thank you. The police need love too. Let's see here. Change the demerit point question on the knowledge test for leaver's permit? Learner's permit? Why? What's wrong with the question? I have nothing to do with it, but I'm just curious. What is the most frequent traffic violation that's easy for citizens to avoid committing? Speeding. Actually do the speed limit or below. That's the easiest one. Put down the phone. Easiest one to avoid. These are the big ones, and they're the most important ones. Yeah. Being distracted, driving, take a chill pill, not actual medication. Just chill out. People are way too aggressive behind the wheel. These are the ones we focus on because, as I put it up on screen again, we focus on the big four. So the big four would be the ones to avoid since we're looking for it the most: speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. Don't do those things. They're bad, and we look for them. What do we got here? What would be the best path to become an officer? Good driving skills, no tickets, don't get into trouble, stay in school, definitely work hard, stay in good shape, or work to be in better shape. It's A shape. You need to be able to pass the test. Work towards the goal of passing all the requirements. What else? Volunteer. Being a good volunteer, being a member of the community that does good for others. Big deal. It's a big deal. Naomi NK says, if a homeless threatens me and I protect myself by defending myself, can I go to prison? Well, threats are not action. How do you defend yourself against threats? They haven't done anything yet. They just threatened you. Someone threatens you, call the police. If you believe the threat is real, that's a police call. But you don't hit someone for threatening you. Not exactly. Doesn't work that way. But there's things called assaultive behavior. So if someone threatens you and then raises their fist like they're going to hit you, well, that is already to the point of being assaultive. Then there are steps you can take. But if you hurt someone who isn't actually legitimately hurting you, is a problem. Just being scared of people doesn't work. So it depends. Everything depends. Just know that you're going to be held criminally responsible for any excessive use of force. Can anyone join the police with a nonviolent criminal record, with any record, even traffic? Criminal records where there are convictions can prevent you from becoming a member of the police service unless you have a pardon. So that's the thing. Speak a bit slow. I have a problem with this. I'm not a good slow speaker. I tend to speak very quickly. I have lots to say, but I will try and slow down for you. I'll do my best. Can you repeat it again for me so I can record you saying it about someone breaking into a house? It's on YouTube. You can go watch it again there. Let's see here. Are red light cameras directional? I believe they are directional. You cross through, they catch you. It's not bi-directional. They would have to be one in every direction. Are tints illegal in Ontario? No. You can't have it so dark that it prevents us from seeing inside the vehicle. It can't be so dark that it's more than 30% light blockage of certification, because that would be unsafe. But that's it. How do you apply to be a police officer? Go to www.tps.ca/careers. That is where you get the application. It's all online now. All online. Would you pull someone over for going 5 over the speed limit? On the highway, no. In a 30-kilometer-an-hour zone, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Don't speed. Speeding bad. What happened to Give a Cop a Hug Day? Anyone remember that? I do not remember that. Hugging someone now is assaultive behavior. It's got to be. You got to ask first. Don't just randomly hug people. Bad idea. But yeah, I don't think that we're ready for hugs. What jobs do you recommend for criminology students? Well, I think policing is the way to go. I think so. Is that what you like? Jobs within the police service or jobs outside? When do you mean? Send me a message. Go to TrafficCop.ca. You can send me a message. We can have this offline discussion. What can we do to protect our property and vehicles from thieves? Oh, there's a ton of things. Well, good lighting. Like there's local divisions have officers who will give you the whole rundown on private property, camera installation, locks, improvements, bars on windows, coatings on glass. Tons of things you can do to make your vehicle and your home, less of a target for thieves. The truth is, these are all precautions, and they're all ways to make the vehicle and property less attractive to thieves because they're looking for an easy catch. It's not a guarantee, though. Some know what's there and want what's there and will work and do the work to get what's there. So it's all about alarm systems and notification of police and it's making them want to go somewhere else because yours is too much work. Aren't you in Canada? Yes, I am. In Toronto, in fact. Ontario, Canada. Neha says, hope you have a good day. I will try. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great weekend. Let's see here. Is it okay to knock on an officer's window and give them boxes of donuts or coffee on cold days? It's a very nice thought, a nice gesture. I would, you could always ask them first. I wouldn't go and spend money in because most officers won't accept it. As much as it is a wonderful gesture that many people want to provide to say thank you, which is appreciated. There's also people who would do that and put things in our food and put things in our drinks. So it's generally not an officer. It's against officer safety protocols to receive things from people we don't know. And it should be from you too. Strangers giving you stuff. Don't accept candy from strangers. But I really appreciate the sentiment. Why are you worrying about seatbelts and not about gangs and car thefts in your city? J. Daniel Taylor, J. Daniel Tyler, my bad. I'm absolutely worried about car thefts and gangs and all those things. However, this is the Traffic Services channel. I am a traffic officer, and my focus is education when it comes to traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. But I don't have a part to play in the other stuff. I'm concerned because I'm a citizen here. I'm concerned because I'm a police officer who wants best for everybody. But this channel is not about that. What's the penalty for illegal merging? What do you mean? Like where they're making their own lane when they're driving on the shoulder, or they're unsafely changing lanes into your path, or they're making an unsafe lane change? Usually it's $110 for most of these things. Okay. Can you be cuffed and transported for stunt driving 40 kilometers over the limit? So 40 over, you're in an area that has a speed limit under 80 in order for you to be charged or arrested and charged for stunt driving. Usually you're going to be, usually it's not going to require cuffed and transported. I don't know why you'd be taken into custody and taken to a station for that offense. Could you be? You can be arrested. Maybe there's going to be conditions applied to your release, and instead of taking you, there could be reasons to take you to a station, but I've never run into them. Jake doesn't like police. Okay. Jay wants to arrest the Prime Minister. Okay. Okay, what's this? Are people trying the ridiculous sovereign citizen routine during traffic stops in Ontario? Does it happen? Yeah. Do they usually get dragged out of their car after the window gets smashed and they get arrested and bad things? Yeah, because they're making up this fantasy of the sovereign citizen stuff. It does not go well. Please, if someone's trying to convince you that maritime law means that you don't need a license on the road or some other mumbo jumbo, it's not real. We have laws. Police are there to enforce the laws. You want to argue that stuff? Argue it in court. Don't argue with the police at the side of the road. It's not going to end well for you. Okay. What's the difference between touching a mounted phone on your dashboard and a car's touchscreen? One is legal and one is not. Now, you can still be charged for touching your touchscreen in the car, just careless driving instead of distracted driving. Different charge. Ultimately, it's the same thing. In fact, distracted driving laws originally came out as less of an offense than careless. In fact, it was a charge of $125, no points, and it was because it was lesser than careless, which would have also applied. It's always applied. Careless driving with your cell phone is careless driving. They just made it lesser. And because people can't figure out how to monitor their impulses, it got more serious. Well, I think it went 125, 150, 175. Maybe it went right to 175. Now it's at 615. 3 demerit points on the first conviction, a 3-day suspension. I'm expecting it to be a full impound of the vehicle in the next 5 to 10 years. I think that's where it's going. And it's because people can't stop. They're addicted. So both are bad. All right. I'm tired. Today's been it feels like a long episode. I don't know. I gotta go. I've got to go and do other stuff. There's a lot that people are waiting on me for. So I went an extra half hour because I love you guys, but I gotta go. But I do want to take this question from Yadis, who says, can I make a video call on my mounted phone? The answer is absolutely not. No, not permitted. Illegal. You can have a mounted phone call as long as the video camera and screen are not active. But I've seen it happen. Yeah, on the way back from the car show, we stopped someone for it. I was with a sergeant. We were on our way back from the car show, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And they had it mounted. They were having a full-on conversation. And, he's like, I didn't know it was illegal. I'm like, now you do. Let's see here. And Josh answers on my behalf. He's being paid to answer questions live. Then he goes back to doing other work, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Thank you very much for letting everyone know. What is this? Just scanning quickly. Can we use? Okay, one last question. Two questions. And then I got to flag dad jokes. Can you use Google Maps on a mount? GPS apps have an exception. You can have the GPS maps open and visible in GPS mode. So whether it be Apple Maps or Google Maps or Waze, it's legal to have that displayed on your phone. But you can't set destinations by hand. You can use voice commands, but you can't touch the device. And J407 says, thanks for what you do. You're very welcome. And I was actually going to comment here on Miss Pep, who says, are you going live at the bike show this weekend? Which bike show? Which obviously means I'm not going to a bike show. But I did notice that I saw some videos that got popularity again, saying that I was at the bike show, which is like a 2-year-old video. But is there a bike show? Is it a bicycle show or motorcycle show? Because I should sell my motorcycle at the motorcycle show. I got a bike I got to sell. Okay. There was a flagged question. What is it? What times do you go live? Most weekdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Obviously, like today, 11:30, I tend to go an extra half an hour and sometimes an extra hour, depending on how busy we are. But the deal is that it's weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's when we go live. And I do want to start adding an evening show, but that's hard with my personal family commitments. My kids need me to put them to bed right when I would normally say would be the best time to go live. All right, let's look at the dad jokes. We have Kayla's quote, starting with a quote from Isaac Asimov. If knowledge can create problems, it is not through ignorance that we can solve them. I like that. Okay, dad joke. What do you call a beehive with no exit? Unbelievable. What do we got here? All right, a joke. What did the buffalo say to its son before leaving? Bison. That's good. I actually like that one. Um, I'll let Sergeant Campbell, who came in with a fantastic dad joke, I'll let him save it till when he's on camera next, and I'll remind him of it because it really was good. I really quite enjoyed it. I played the rock version of the traffic song yesterday, and there was a feature on that was messing with the volume, and it was really annoying. So I turned that off, and I figured we'd play it again. Now, hang on. I think this is bananas. So if you are aware, even if you're not aware, we have something called Suno.ai, and I've been using it to make songs for the show. Of course, we have the traffic song, which is written and performed by a real person, a police officer. And I took the lyrics,
Yellow light, red light, green light.
and I put it into Suno. Well, and we did this.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Drive it safely.
Why am I not
off
hearing
the traffic flow.
Did that work for you? Did you hear it? I didn't hear it. Let me try that again. I hit a button by accident.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Drive it safely. Helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians. Look out for bikes and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Down your cell phone. Nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt save your life indeed. Watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed. You might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
I really love this. I really love that version. I love both of them, but man, that's awesome. Okay, have a great weekend, everybody. Drive safe, drive sober, drive legally, park legally, and smile because it looks good on you. Even Tyler. Anyway, be well. See you on Tuesday, not Monday, because I'm not here Monday. And don't stare into the eclipse. It's going to be bad. Take it easy.